All right. Good.
All right, we got Dapper Dan versus Nashkill Headhunters. And first off, we are looking at the quarterbacks. And we got Russell Wilson versus Marcus Mariota. Mariota looked very promising in his opening week. Last week, they fell behind, and he struggled a little bit, but he still looks very promising as a rookie quarterback coming into the league. Russell Wilson, on the other hand, facing Chicago.
Great matchup.
Great matchup. I have to lean to Russell Wilson on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty cut and dry. You got to go Wilson there, especially if he gets to use his legs a little bit more, because I know Lynch is going to have a good game, and Wilson stands to have a good game as well. But these two teams both suffered Cowboy-sized casualties with Dez Bryant and Tony Romo, so it's kind of interesting to see how they're going to pan out. Can Mitchell survive with waiver wire quarterbacks for the rest of the year, or will he snag up the breakout guy? As he is 2-0, it's going to be hard to get the guys off the waiver wire. But we'll just kind of see how that pans out. Running backs, we got Lamar Miller and Isaiah Crowell versus Latavius Murray and Chris Ivory. Miller is a little bit banged up, but he did come back to practice this week, and I expect him to play. But against Buffalo's defense, yikes! Like I wouldn't want to play him at all if I had the choice. You got to, because he's a stud running back, and you got to play him. But I don't expect good point totals from him. And then Isaiah Crowell, he had a good game last week, but that's just a matter
Duke Johnson is coming.
It's just a matter before Duke finally takes over that job. And then Mitchell got a great matchup with Latavius Murray against Cleveland. They were one of the worst rush defenses last year, and Murray had a good game last week. Ivory's a little bit banged up. I'm a little worried about that. Philadelphia's run defense is not really all that bad. They did lose, or Kiko Alonso is not going to play this week, so that does help them some. But I think Ivory was more of a flash in the pan kind of guy. I think he's going to have some weeks where he'll go off, but most weeks he's like last year. He only had 4 games where he had double-digit fantasy points at all, and then the rest of it is kind of single digits. 6, 8. He just kind of mediocre. So that's kind of what I expect out of him. But I expect Murray to have a good game. I think he's a top 15 play this week. So I'm going to go advantage Mitchell on this one.
I agree with that, honestly.
Then wide receivers, we have Jarvis Landry and Terrence Williams versus Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Cooks. It's pretty close. It's closer than what you would think, but I think you got to go Mitchell just because Odell could put up the numbers by himself to compete with both guys.
I agree with that. I think he goes off tonight, and I think Mitchell's going to be pleased with the production from it.
Cooks is not what he was cooked up to be. No pun intended. But Landry's been very solid. Terrence Williams filling in for Dez is still pretty decent. I think it's
got a lot of upside.
It really is close, but I'm going to go Mitchell. Tight end.
Gronk versus Clay. Gronk. Okay. Now down to the flex. We got Golden Tate and Pierre Garçon. Washington is looking better on the offensive side, but it is honestly pretty close because we haven't seen a whole lot of production out of Calvin Johnson as Stafford's been throwing to Tate and Ebron a little bit more.
Johnson had good numbers last week.
Well, all around it doesn't seem like it seems like the ball's being spread around. So Tate could still see the production, but obviously he's not going to have stud production unless Calvin Johnson gets hurt.
And he's playing against Denver, so Aqib Talib and Chris Harris are good defenses. So I'm going to go actually advantage Garçon.
I am too. I actually think it's a good matchup this week for it.
Jets defense against Philadelphia. Awesome. I think Jets defense is probably the safest defense this week. Philadelphia could turn around. They eventually will turn it around. But Miami against Buffalo is a great matchup too. It's hard to dislike either one. I'm going to say it's a wash because both of these are elite defenses.
Buffalo's a good defense, but I think I'm actually going to side with the Jets despite the projection. They actually proved that they were a pretty solid defense last week against the Colts, and I think that they can hold Philadelphia as they start to come under pressure for their offense.
And kickers, Dan Bailey, Justin Tucker, both great. I think both of them put up solid numbers. But just looking at the overall matchups and the teams in general, I got to go with Nashkill Headhunters. He's going to go up to 3-0. Champ. So there it goes.
I give it to the champ. It ain't happening this year.